Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends, and another special feeding episode. This time I'm going to be feeding a fellow that I picked up in the Hive Warriors Grand Prix. And this is Wasper. And Wasper is a legendary. Wasper is magic. Wasper has lots of open ruin slots. He has wings, he's evil legions, and he's a villain. Of course he is. Take a look at him. I mean, he's a wasp, right? He's not like a butterfly. He's a wasp. So, we're going to see if he's got lots of good stuff and see whether or not he's going to be useful to us in the future. So, we're going to put him over here with these guys for now before we move him on to his final home. Okay, that looked kind of interesting. Did they change the color pattern in the background? Certainly looked like it. Alright, so where is he here? Okay, this is not going to be Cersei. No, it's not. We'll find something good for him. Cool name. Something bug-like, right? Alright, so this is Wasper. He is a legendary. He is magical. Status effects have a 20% less accurate on him. Oh, and he applies evasion to himself at the start of a battle. That's kind of interesting. Indeed it is. Alright, let's look at some stats. He's got a pretty good strength there. He's got a great life, and his speed is pretty good too. I don't really know what he is. I do know that he disables traits, so I don't know if he's actually going to be like a damage dealer or he's going to be an attacker with support stuff. I guess we're going to find out when we start feeding him, right? First, let's look at his initial skills. Alright, he's got Annoying Insect, deals low physical damage to one enemy, and Mosquito Bite. I thought he was a wasp. Okay. Mosquito Bite deals moderate magic damage to one enemy. And that very interesting special skill, Hive Mind, removes positive status effects from all enemies, disables trait of all enemies, deals massive special damage to all enemies, applies a 100% life shield to all allies. Well, that certainly does a lot. Okay, that's definitely kind of like those little game-changing type situations. Alright, that's pretty good. So let's see what he's got. This magic bug spent years hiding from Clevia, who was obsessed and wanted to devour him in one bite. However, now Wasper has come out of his shelter with a set of heavy attacks and a new trick up his wing, trait disabling. Who's going to do the chasing now? It's not really a new trick, but I guess for him it's a new trick, and it could be useful too. So we'll see how that works out in terms of his skills. But first, we need to get him to his final form. And we happen to know he loves tomatoes. Don't you love tomatoes? Here, have some tomatoes. There we go. There's his final form. Alright? I don't see anybody eating him in one bite. Especially if he flies away like that. Okay, so let's see what his skills look like. Alright, let's go to level 7. Irritating Buzz. Deals moderate magic damage to one enemy. Disables trait of one enemy. Okay, well that's a good place to start. And he's going right for the trait disabling. Alright, and that lasts for 3 turns. Of course, we'll get better, I'm sure. So let's continue to... Sting Out. Applies double damage to itself. Okay, well that's interesting. Yeah, hopefully he gets better than that, right? Maybe throw an extra turn in there? Just saying. Alright, so that's level 10. So let's get to level 15. And another skill. Chitin Strike deals moderate special damage to one enemy. Applies a 33% life shield to itself. Alright, well, I guess we could just put that there because why not? Okay, so let's continue. So he can put shields on himself. Alright, let's just see. Acid Spit deals very heavy nature damage to one enemy, applies poison to one enemy, adds a 0 cooldown right there. I'm not overly fond with this one, so I'm just gonna put that one right there. I mean, I might hold on to that one, unless of course there's a massive upgrade coming. But the thing is, it is a 0 cooldown, so... And it does do poison, which is a really good torture effect too, so... I would need something good to remove that. Maybe he has it. So let's continue to level 25. And another skill. Poisonous Exoskeleton applies a 50% life shield to itself. Applies poison to all enemies. That's actually really not too bad. It's certainly a lot better than the other one we had, right? I'm not going to keep that one. We'll just hold on to this one for now and see if we're going to hold on to it, right? I mean, that's kind of cool right there, just saying. All right, so let's continue to level 30. Sweet Venom applies triple damage to itself. Applies daze to itself. Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting enough that I would throw it in there for now. Okay, so I'm guessing basically it gives him the triple damage, and then but it's only for one round. But of course, triple damage for one round. But it also dazes him, so it makes him less accurate. But it wouldn't be a problem if, say, guard down was in effect there or something like that. All right, well, let's just get the rest of his skills and then figure out what we're going to do, right? All right, so let's continue to level 35 and another skill. Hive Defender deals moderate special damage to all enemies. Applies a 50% life shield to itself. Okay, you couldn't spread that life shield out a little? All right, well, why don't we just put that there for now because I don't have anything there. Okay, so let's continue to level 40. High Decibel Buzz. Disables trait on all enemies. Deals moderate magic damage to all enemies. Well, obviously you're going to have to keep that one. I think I'm going to take this one for now, and then we'll see what happens. All right, so we might have one more. I think we do. I think we would have one more. Let's see what we get. Poisonous Exoskeleton. I just got rid of that one. Might take it back, but I want to see all the skills. Piercing Sting. Removes positive status effects from one enemy. Disables trait on one enemy. Deals heavy magic damage to one enemy. Applies poison to one enemy. It certainly does a lot to one enemy. Alright, so there's the big question here. Do I want to take that out? Acid Spit does more damage. It's got a 0 cooldown to it. This one removes positive status effects, so if they had like shielding or some kind of protection on top, it doesn't do as much damage. It's actually magic damage. So he's got nature damage and he's got magic damage here. I guess this one is just for the poison though. It's interesting that they made that nature damage though. I don't want to lose that one, but it seems to be the most logical one to get rid of, you know? I mean, it's going to apply the poison, the same as this one, but it'll apply the poison to somebody who's even immune to poison because it's going to disable the trait. It's also going to take down any protection that they have. You know, if they have a shield or something, it's going to take that down. It's going to take all that stuff away. It's really hard to ignore that. I think I would probably just keep Acid Spit if it wasn't for the fact that it was removing positive status effects, because that can just be so very useful. I really don't like getting rid of that one because of the 0 cooldown, but, you know, he's got like 2s around here. I think I'm going to take out Acid Spit. It's against my better judgment, but the alternative is getting rid of this. I mean, it's going to daze, but daze isn't horrific. And there are circumstances in which it's not a problem. For instance, you know, if guard down, or if he does this to himself, then somebody removes negative status effects from him, then he doesn't have the daze anymore. All right, I'm going to put it in for Acid Spit. Okay, and I do believe that's probably going to be us done with him. So we'll just get him up 10 more levels. Yeah, I know, it's a really great skill. It is indeed. And level 60. Alright, Poisonous Exo. That's a good one too, you know? The thing about it is I don't need the shield anymore because I'm getting the shield from this. I mean, poisoning everybody is pretty good. It's just that, especially if I keep Sweet Venom, you know, especially if I keep this, this would just be really good because it's special damage and it's almost high, right? It's almost high damage. So the thing about it is he can really wreck with that. You could also wreck with this one too. Not as much as, unfortunately, Poison Spit there, right? The Acid Spit, I should say. All right, so that's us done with this. Let's just take a quick look. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, poison exoskeleton, acid spit. Yeah, I mean, triple damage. I mean, yeah, definitely go with the triple damage instead, you know? Irritating buzz. All right, we got everything. All right, let's take a look at his stats. Okay, the strength is pretty good. His life is very good. Speed's pretty good too, you know? Good stats here, very good stats. He's going to be able to attack a lot, and he's going to be able to hit pretty hard when he does it. So let's take a look at the skills that I selected and figure out what we're going to do with this guy, right? All right, so let's start with Hive Defender. Deals moderate special damage to all enemies, applies a 50% life shield to himself. So he's going to be doing a lot of just damage, you know, damage. He does have like one torture effect, which is poison. I only have it on one of his skills, though. There were other ones, but I just chose not to use them. So he does a lot of physical damage. So let's, and there's a good reason why we want that too. All right, let's move on to the next one here. All right, here we have Piercing Sting. This one removes positive stats effects from one enemy, disables the trait on the one enemy, deals heavy magic damage to one enemy, and applies poison to one enemy. So that one enemy is really going to have a complex, as well as a lot of other problems. All right, now, I had the choice between this and Acid Spit, which applied poison and did do more damage. It was nature damage, though. But this one just does a lot of things that you kind of want to do. I especially like to remove positive stats effects, and then it does everything else. So that can be very, very useful in situations. There could be a shield up, there could be evade up. It could even remove the effect from a status cast as well. So that could be very, very useful. And then it's going to disable the trait. How long is it disable up for? 3 rounds. It's going to disable the trait for 3 rounds. And then it's going to apply poison. So you could use this on somebody who's immune to poison, because you can just disable the trait. They're not immune to poison anymore. Hit them and then poison them. So that's very, very useful. I mean, if you have somebody who's taunting in the group and they have a shield on, just hit them with this and that's all gone. And then whatever their trait was, if this was used like on a Dun Ra, right, that would just boom, or a Corral Brutalis. You know, just disable the taunting one and then have your team go after somebody else. Very, very useful skill indeed. Very useful. And then we have this one. This is Sweet Venom. Applies triple damage to itself. Applies daze to itself. So it gives itself triple damage for 1 round, but the cost is it's going to be dazed, which means its accuracy is going to be reduced. I think power as well. Power is going to be reduced as well. Well, I mean, it's going to be reduced by 25%, but it's going to be 25% of triple damage, right? So that's not a big deal. And besides, you're going to have the opportunity, perhaps one of your other individuals could remove the daze before he actually comes around to attack again. Or if your target has guard down on it, you don't have to worry about the accuracy because you're going to hit. You'll have a bit of reduced power, but I think the triple damage will make up for it. So, I mean, do you want to use this in battle? I mean, this can be very useful. He's kind of fast, too, so he might be able to use this and then come back with the attack pretty quickly. Now, he has some good attacks that can take advantage of this, like the first one, Hive Defender. I mean, that's nearly heavy damage there. So if he hits the entire enemy group with that, with triple damage, he's going to do a lot of damage. And it is special damage, too, so it's not going to get mitigated by anybody. So that's very good indeed. And then we have, finally, High Decibel Buzz. Disables trait on all enemies, deals moderate magic damage to all enemies. All right, now, obviously, his thing is disabling traits. That's his big thing, right? And this one is going to do it for the entire group. So there could be all kinds of things mixed in there, and he's just going to get rid of them, and then he's going to hit them all. He's not really going to have a big problem with cooldowns either, because everything that I chose has two rounds. Mind you, if he gets his cooldown set, well then, yeah, he's going to be a problem for 2 rounds. This one here, the replacement, the one that I used to replace this one, Acid Spit, was actually a 0 cooldown, which is the reason I had to think about it. But the remove positive status effects from this one is just the reason I went with it. Now, in terms of runes for this guy, he does a lot of raw damage, so it's pretty hard not to put damage on him. In fact, I would probably put 2 damages on him, just because he really only has 1 torture effect. I mean, this one puts a shield on him. This one does a lot of damage, single target, and it does poison. Then there's this one here, which basically disables traits and then does damage. So you probably want to take advantage of his strength and give him more damage. From that point on, you might want to enhance his speed or maybe even make him chunkier and increase his life. It kind of depends on what you want to do with him. You probably don't have to play with his life very much, but going faster is just kind of good for him, especially considering he does have that triple damage that he can use. Also, you know, the more the traits are disabled, the better for your rest of your team. And that single target removal of positive status effects from the other side can be very useful. So me, myself, I'm thinking 2 damages. I might just go a support speed, just so that he can make his team go faster, because he's kind of an attacker who's also supporty as well. Mind you, the shielding and the buffing is for himself, but the trait disable benefits the entire team. That's kind of the way I see him. I wouldn't put full damage on him, but I would put 2 damages on him and then probably a support speed. So again, he makes the entire team go faster. That's just a benefit for everybody. All right, and this is Wasper. He's pretty good. He's kind of interesting, and I don't mind the idea of testing him in the near future. Probably throw him into the next testing video, whenever that's going to be. So anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it, and play games, because games are fun. See you.